Should or shouldn't men over 40 marry single mothers in Indonesia? This is the topic of today's video, but before I dig into today's video, I wanna read you a comment which I have received from a viewer of mine. Quote, "I like your video, thank you so much. I think that many viewers would be interested to know where it is best to look for a future wife with a large age difference. It would also be interesting to watch a video about whether men over 40, for example, should or shouldn't marry single mothers. It seems to me that a single mother can be found younger, prettier, and she may agree not to give birth to more children, which could suit men over 50, for example." Valid question, very good question. I assume this comment refers to one of my Indonesian videos, you know, dating Indonesian women. I cannot clearly trace it back. I just saved this comment already for a while. I have been saving it. So, but anyway, let's talk about this topic of should or shouldn't you, if you are over 40 or even over 50, marry a single mom. In Indonesia, this is a very, very good topic actually. And I will not just give you the answer here in this video, whether you should or shouldn't, but also I will give you some background information about the situations of single mothers in Indonesia. We will talk about pros and cons, of course. I will also give you some other background information, and then we will conclude this video. So, but first, this viewer wants to know where to look for potential wives with a large age difference. Is it possible? So here we already have to discern, because I don't know what he means with large age gap. Does he mean 20 years, 30 years, 40 years? So I don't really know, but of course we can assume, you know, what he's talking about. In general, in Indonesia, my experience is that the normal age gap between a foreigner and an Indonesian woman is between 10 and 20 years, okay? This is the general experience I have. Of course, there are also couples in Indonesia, foreigner and Indonesian woman, who have a larger age gap, maybe 30 years. This also happens. But I hardly see age gap relationships in Indonesia where there is an age gap of, let's say, 40 years, you know. So age gap, these really large age gaps are rather uncommon in Indonesia, or not common. But they are more common, for example, in the Philippines and in Thailand, yeah, where you have a lot of, especially in the Philippines, a lot of American guys who date way younger women or are even married to way younger women. So we are talking here about 60, 70-year-old guys who are dating women in their 20s or 30s, okay? In Indonesia, yeah, there's also an age gap, and we will talk about this later, why also Indonesian women are interested in older men actually. So just to give you some background here, the single mom issue, the single mother problem also in Indonesia. Because of the culture in Indonesia, single mothers are looked down upon for several reasons. They are looked down upon, especially by Indonesian men, but also by society in general. Yeah, it seems like that single moms do not have the respect from or by the society as if she would be married. There's also a lot of judgment there, you know, and around single mothers. Local men, as I mentioned already, they really don't like to date or to engage or to get married with single moms, you know, women who are either divorced or separated or widowed and have kids already. And also the man's family in Indonesia is not so quick in approving this. there is a lot of pressure there in the Indonesian culture. Also, the Indonesian man probably has a lot of difficulties to just accept another guy's kids, right? Because later that will maybe lead to a conflict also and fighting, and if there's a conflict or fighting going on in the relationship, then this guy would always blame it on the kids maybe, so these kind of things. And this is the general backdrop here, the general background I want you to know. So the stance these women have in Indonesian culture, it's very similar to the Philippines or probably Thailand, So single mothers who are either not married, who never married, or are, as I mentioned, separated, being divorced even, or are widowed, they have a tough stance in Indonesian society, and they in general are looked down upon. Therefore, these women, these single moms, are frequenting the dating sites. This is one of the reasons we will talk about this a little bit later. Yeah, because they hope to find a proper man on these dating sites. Also, we need to understand Indonesian culture. For an Indonesian woman, becoming a mother or being a mother or having kids, having children is like a sacred duty. Yeah, this is the same in all these Southeast Asian countries. And I can tell you, I don't know any Indonesian woman or girl who doesn't want to have a baby, who doesn't want to have children, who doesn't want to start her own family, get married and have a happy family. Yeah, more or less all of the Indonesian women and girls, they want to become a mother. Yeah, and they will become a mother this or the other way, most of them. Yeah, so let's talk about some general pros about women in their 30s and 40s, because this is the age range of these single moms. Yeah. Of course, there are also younger single moms in Indonesia in their 20s, but when you go on these dating sites, most of these single moms you will find are either in their 30s, early 30s, mid 30s, late 30s, or already even in their 40s, So I will just focus on these two age groups here. But in general, I can tell you that talking about the women in their 30s and 40s, single moms, that in general there are, of course, good quality women like any other woman in Indonesia, married women. Yeah, the pro is the advantage is, of course, that they are more mature, yeah, more experienced, more serious also, because they are a mother already, so they know exactly what it means to be responsible every single day. Yeah, so they are very, very responsible women. Most of them have a job, a stable job, because they need to finance their life and their lifestyle and the household. And of course, they are very committed. They have to be committed and responsible, and also they are very loyal women. And they know what's at stake for them. They have no time to play. Yeah, so this is the general. These are the good things with these women. They know what they want. Yeah, and it's not like I know what they want. They just want money and this and that. No, it's not so easy and black and white. So let's talk about the women in their 30s. The probably most important pro or advantage these women have is, and why you should maybe even marry them, is because they are still attractive, or more attractive, than single moms in their 40s. So this is definitely one big advantage, right? For us men, because men, we are visual creatures, The beauty of a woman is very important for us, at least at the first encounter. So women in their 30s are more attractive. But the cons are that she most likely has smaller kids, kids who are maybe 4 years old, 5 years old, 8, 9, something like that. And the question is, the big question is, are you ready to deal with that, That's the question you have to ask yourself. And another question you have to ask yourself, do you really want to raise another guy's kid or kids, Because the big thing will be, and it can be a big problem also, the kids, her kids, they will be her priority. Even you are on board and you become her partner. I don't know if I need to mention this, but I mention this anyway. Because some guys maybe have this idea of, okay, it doesn't matter, she has a 5-year-old kid, I'm getting together with her and then I enjoy my life in Indonesia, we're gonna travel together and this and that. But this is just maybe just imagination. But anyway, the kids will have priority and maybe not you so much, So if you are an ego guy and you need a lot of attention, or you want to be the center of attention, then you have to be very careful, because if you're able to put yourself in her shoes, then hopefully you will understand that, of course, her kids are still her priority. Yeah, and this is actually also the reason why she got together with you, because she is looking for a partner who can support her and her kids also at the end of the day. This is what all women want and need, and also the single moms. So can you handle this? Yeah, that you maybe are not her top priority, right? Instead of maybe traveling around and enjoying the high life, you will become a full-time parent. Is it that what you really want? And perhaps also another con is that maybe she doesn't want to have other kids anymore, Maybe she's happy with her kid. Maybe you want kids, maybe she don't, The expenses also go up, right? Are you up for that? Are you ready for it? Do you have enough income? Because child support in Indonesia, I'm not quite sure how it works. I just know there are child support laws in place. They are also in effect, but we don't know if they are really enforced in Indonesia. I doubt it, But I can tell you the story of one of my friends who is now married already for many years to a British guy. But when I got to know her, she was like in her mid-20s, Indonesian woman. We were colleagues. We worked in Medan together in a hotel. I was the chef. She was a waitress. She was like mid-20s and she had a boy, I think already 5 or 6 years old at the time. And a few years later, she got married to a British guy. And since then they are happily married. I hope they are happily married. All I can see on social media is that they seem to be happily married. And so I think they worked it out quite well among each other. They had no further kids, and I don't think there are any other kids in planning. And the guy has a stable job, I know. He has a good salary. He works, I think, in the oil business. There is no issue with child support. I don't know if my friend ever received child support from her ex-husband. So this is the situation. But there was a guy who was okay with that, to marry a single mom with at the time 5 or 6 year old boy, and apparently everything works very well. So yeah. Now let's talk about the women in their 40s. One definite pro of these women is, one advantage is that most likely their kids are kind of grown up already. They are not too small anymore, not too young. And some of these kids might be already even out of the house, so to speak, So you don't, or you would not have to deal with these kids or her children. Certainly not with raising kids, because they most likely go to college or to high school, or maybe have jobs already and even live in different villages or different cities. So that would be very convenient for you if you don't want to really deal with raising kids, right? So then you should consider a single mom in her 40s, you know. But the disadvantage is, of course, that these women, you know, depending on your liking, is not so attractive anymore, right? So, and also she can't have kids. If you want to have kids, if you want to have a baby with an Indonesian woman, then, you know, the biological clock is ticking for these women as well. And even she wants to have kids with you, she can't, you know. It's the other way around. The 30-year-old women, you know, they can have kids, babies, but they don't want, maybe, you know. But this 40-year-old woman can't have kids. So just to give you some additional general information here about these women, and why they are, for example, hanging out at the dating sites, because they know, these women know that, these Indonesian women know, let's say there's a 35-year-old single mom. Let's say she is separated, she is divorced from her ex-husband, she has a 9-year-old daughter, okay? So in Indonesian culture, it's gonna be very difficult for this woman, a 35-year-old, even she is still also very attractive, you know, physically and stuff, but it's gonna be difficult for her to find an Indonesian man, because most of the men in her age range, 35 to 40, let's say, most of these Indonesian men are also married already and have kids, have a family. It's going to be very hard for her, very tough, to find an Indonesian man, 35 or older, who is still single and not married, no kids. This is the big obstacle in Indonesian society. Yeah? And therefore, these women hopping onto the dating sites. This is one reason. Another reason is, of course, the bad experiences they made with Indonesian men. Yeah? So I don't know what happened. This guy maybe cheated on her, or even was physically abusive. There are so many different stories and reasons why this woman chose to get divorced from her partner. Yeah? So of course we can understand that these women are kind of fed up, disappointed, you know, and they are not really interested to date Indonesian men anymore. So these two reasons are the main causes why actually Indonesian women are hopping onto the dating sites, because they decided to try with a foreigner, because they also know that foreigners are a little bit, foreign men, Western men, are a little bit more tolerant when it comes to these matters, you know, divorce and this kind of stuff, because some Indonesian women know that, yeah, in Western culture the approach is a little bit different. You know, we don't look down upon women who are divorced. I don't say no Western man is looking down, but it's rather less, you know. It's I can only speak for me. I don't look down upon these women, German women also, you know. If I meet a German woman who is divorced and has kids, I think, you know, okay, shit happens, you know, this is the situation, but why should she be worth less? Or anything like that. So I personally, I would not look down upon any woman who is divorced. And this is what these Indonesian women also know about the foreigners, you know. So they are more tolerant, you know. And maybe these guys also have a backstory. Maybe they also have a failed marriage and they want to try a new chapter in their life. That's why they come to Indonesia. So this is, you know, the image they have and the knowledge they have about Western men. So that's why they hop onto the dating sites, because they know the Western guys, they go onto these dating sites to meet Indonesian women, because also the majority of Western men, they are not in Indonesia. Yeah, they are living in their Western countries, and the only way to get in touch with Indonesian women, besides of traveling to Indonesia or living there already or working there, is through the dating sites. So this is the reason why so many Indonesian single moms are also choosing the dating sites. These are the true reasons, or the major reasons, and not because they want to scam money out of you, or they want to stay incognito and this and that. No. And because the marriage didn't work out, and because of the obstacles of Indonesian society to find a proper man in the age range, you know, they start to think and come up with other solutions, and then they start to think, you know, and figure out that, hey, a foreigner is also actually a valid, solid alternative, you know, because at the end of the day, these women, what choice do they have? At the end, they also want to just live a happy life, happy family life. They want to be happy. They want to have a partner, and ideally also a guy who can assume the role of a father and take care of the children, right? This is what these women want. They have basic human needs like all of us. Yeah? And if they cannot get it in Indonesia by Indonesian guys, then they look for foreigners. Yeah? So it's not only about dollars and money, and it's about the visa they can get to America or to Europe, or, you know, or gold diggers. It's not only about this. I know these judgments, they are flying around and they are very popular. But yeah, these women had just made bad experiences in Indonesia with Indonesian men. So now they're looking for alternatives. I think it just makes sense, you know. And it's a different culture. And in my other videos I also talked about this. You know, Indonesian women are interested in older men when it comes to foreigners. You know, I think when an Indonesian woman marries an Indonesian man, they have quite the same age range. You know, maybe the guy is a little older, 2-3 years, maybe even 5 years. But this is the normal age range in Indonesia. Not much different than, let's say, in Germany or maybe in the States, you know. But when it comes to dating or meeting a foreign man, then Indonesian women are more tolerant towards larger age gaps. And this is good for us, you know, men over 40 or over 50, you know. You can easily find a single mom in her 30s, or even single moms in their 20s, because they have the same problems, they face the same obstacles. If you are 45 and you meet a 25-year-old single Indonesian mom who is either divorced already or is a widow, then you also have good chances to get together with her. Yeah, Indonesian women prefer older men, older foreigners, because they know they are hopefully more mature and they have more life experience, definitely. And most of the foreigners have a career going. They are financially stable, and they have a job, you know. And before some of these guys start screaming, "Oh, haha, you see, they just want the money, financial stability. Yeah, they just want the money." No, it's not only like that. It's one part of it. But you know, if you just use your common sense and start to ponder this problematic a little bit deeper, then you will understand that women, of course, they, not only Indonesian women, in general, women everywhere around the planet, they are looking for financial stability and security when they meet a man or before they even get engaged or married to this guy. Yeah, so the same story here in Indonesia. Yeah, and because older men tend to be more financially stable, so therefore automatically these women are looking or interested to meet older expats, older Western guys, you know. And yeah, that's the story. So what's the conclusion now? Should you or shouldn't you marry a single mom in Indonesia? I gave you all the background information, what you need to know about the stance of single moms in Indonesia and why they are on the dating sites, and what are the pros and cons of dating single moms in the 30s and 40s. But at the end of the day, it comes back to you. What do you want, right? You have to ask yourself these questions. What do you really want? This is so important that you are able to answer this question, because some men, they cannot answer this question. It sounds like a simple question, but they don't really know what they want. They think they know, but they really don't want. So you need to really be clear about your intentions and about your wants. Are you really clear about that? That is your main mission, your main task. You have to figure out what you really want. I give you some hints already in this video here, especially with raising kids. Do you really want to assume the role of a father, of another guy? You want to raise kids from another guy, and this and that. So you really have to carefully weigh the pros and cons, and then you will come to a hopefully proper conclusion, and then you either go ahead and marry an Indonesian single mom, or you just don't do it, because marrying a single mom in Indonesia, even if you're already more than 40 years old or 50 years old, can be a good thing, but it also can be a bad thing, right? Depending on what you want. But in general, single moms in Indonesia are a great, let's say, alternative, Like I said in the beginning, there are good quality women. They know what they want. They want money. No. It's not like that. This is too cheap and of an argument. They want a happy life. Indonesian women are rather simple. They're not. I didn't meet so many gold diggers actually. So it's up to you. Weigh your pros and cons and then see for yourself. And then with that being said, I'm checking out for today. Thanks for watching. Looking forward to hear from you, what you have to say. Looking forward to your comments. I'm gonna see you in one of my next videos. Take care. Bye bye.